History is full of tricks carried out by the military to achieve gains in wars, or like those invented by ordinary people, with the aim of making money in ways other than its legality. So that the saying of the island strengthens the eye, it turns out to be a military trick used by Britain in World War II. The following report monitors the most prominent hoaxes that have occurred throughout history. After the introduction. Fake vampire. The story was a figment of the CIA imagination and its protagonist, Edward Lansdale, one of the most powerful elements of the CIA during the Cold War. During the Vietnam War, he was known for his many tricks in order to deceive the opponent. His most remarkable genius and crazy trick stood out when he was leading military operations against communist insurgents in the Philippines. A legend was rumored in the surrounding environment about a vampire creature who uses his tongue to drain the blood of his victims. His plan succeeded in draining the enemy and causing terror among the ranks of the communists. And on one occasion, in order to convince the enemy of the trick to ambush the enemy, and after eliminating the enemy, he pierced the neck of one of the soldiers with 2 holes, and then pressed the veins of his body to completely drain his blood through the 2 holes, as if a vampire had killed some of the soldier and threw the body on the side of the road. Through this trick, he managed to clear the area of the communists in a short period of time, effortlessly. Pauline Bonaparte and the Austria Bridge. In 1805, the French commander Pauline Bonaparte was facing the problem of conquering the Austrian army, who had built a strong defense on the eastern bank of the Danube, and the only bridge that enabled the French army to cross the river was booby-trapped with bombs and explosives, as the orders to the Austrian army were to blow up the bridge if any French soldier crossed. Therefore, the option of controlling the bridge by force would have turned it into rubble within a few seconds, so a plan B was necessary. And one of Napoleon's officers came up with an idea that seemed very stupid at first. The plan was for 2 Frenchmen to walk on the bridge and chat about how happy they were with the truce, and the fighting between the 2 sides and the war finally ended. A lie, as there was no truce between the 2 armies. Both guards chat with high-ranking enemy officers and joke with them. And although the enemy army was not initially convinced of this plan, both guards continued to laugh and chat, indifferent to any attempt to stop them. At the same time, a squadron of the elite of the French army began walking on the bridge, hiding their weapons under their jackets, and in the same way people exchanged chat and laughter on the bridge, while slowly advancing towards the enemy. As they approached the enemy, one of the 2 guards noticed the intention of an Austrian sergeant to ignite a cannon fuse and blow up the bridge, but he forcibly snatched the torch from his hands, and an Austrian artillery force was nearby, ready to shoot. But the officers persuaded them to back down, and they sat carelessly on the barrel of explosives lighting cigarettes. In this strange way, the French army was able to later capture the bridge, which was a focal point in the war with the Austrian army, on the other bank of the Danube, through tricks. 0-hour plan. The Israeli enemy acknowledged the success of the Egyptian deception and camouflage plan in the 1973 war, stressing that the secret of its success lies in the absolute secrecy of the 0 hour, and not announcing it even as orders that carry a degree of top secret, to the extent that some command officers were not aware that the maneuver would develop into a war until the moment of war, and despite the risks of lack of coordination. But this was important and ineffective for the simplicity of the plan. Carrots strengthen eyesight. During World War II, Britain did not want to know that it had radar, so they announced in the media that British anti-aircraft soldiers, as well as pilots, were eating large quantities of carrots, which gave them sharp eyesight and enabled them to shoot down German planes like flies. Indeed, the Germans believed this trick. Lord Baden deceived. Lord Robert Baden, the 22nd of February 1857, the 8th of January 1941, was a British Army officer, especially strange during the Second Boer War, in South Africa, the war against the Boer tribes, who wanted liberation from English colonialism. Baden's orders were to secure the British Army in Mafeking, but he was unable to enter the city because war had not yet been declared, so Baden requested official permission from the residents of the city of Mafeking to enter his troops to protect the supplies of his presence there, and the moment he obtained permission, he brought his entire army into the city. And when people complained, he simply pointed out that the size of the guards had not been determined, and his supplies needed great protection. Another trick was carried out by the Baden soldiers, ordered to bury mysterious boxes in the ground around the perimeter of the city, and when asked what they were, He said that they were powerful landmines from England, designed to destroy the Boer tribe specifically. To support his claim, he blew up 2 boxes which he filled with dynamite and made sure that the enemy saw the force of the explosion, so the enemy would leave the city to warn the troops outside. Of course, these boxes were not mines or terrifying weapons, but Baden's constant lies and nonsense led to his victory in that round without firing a shot. In conclusion of this video, I would like to express my deep gratitude to everyone who watched this video and spent some time with us. We appreciate your support and interest in our content. We hope that the video added value to you and that you enjoyed it and benefited from it. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions for future videos, feel free to share them with us in the comments.